Hey everyone. So, in case you guys didn't know, I'm a nun. So, I guess that means I'm the only one out here who ain't fucking. Am I right? On purpose. You're also probably thinking, wait a second, she's a nun, but she just said fuck. Is that even allowed? I'm a tantric nun, and I feel compelled to make this video today. I haven't really spoken a lot about what I have experienced becoming a nun in any of my posts. And I've just been called today to share this. I've been a nun since November 26, 2021. I took my vows up in Himachal Pradesh. I took my vows with a Tibetan geshe monk, Tashi, my friend. I took the Bodhisattva vow. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but anyway, I'm gonna roll with it because that's what I wanted to, I guess, display today. Is that straight after I took my vows, I went back to South India. Oh, no. I fasted for 40 days. I only drank liquids. I didn't do that on purpose. I didn't even realize. And then straight after that, I returned to South India and I started my ministry. I started really sharing the wisdom that the divine was illuminating to me and the things that I had experienced. And I was trying to communicate that, right? And it's funny because just the other day I remembered the story of Christ in the desert for 40 days fasting, and then he returns and begins his ministry in the story, right? And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't make that connection until recently. And what I really want to communicate about what kind of nun I am, this is why it's so weird. I didn't know when I had my Kundalini awakening and I just diligently followed the guidance and the path of the life force Kundalini mother. She was relentless, and I burned through so many illusions. I continue to burn through illusions, but that was an escalated burning through of my own patterns. And each time I burned through one, I felt more liberated. So it gave me the strength to continue walking through the fire on purpose, right? The path, for me, has been one of willful annihilation, because when you release something in the self and you feel the betterment on the other side of that, the next thing that is presented to you, you remember what you've just been through and you're like, oh, I'm definitely going to walk through this door. It scares the hell out of me now. I can't understand it, but I'm going to walk through it because I trust the path of releasing attachment and egoic clutching. So when I was presented with walking through the door of being a nun, yeah, that scared me. I'm not going to lie. You know, I love physicality, sex, and I knew that would mean celibacy, right? But this is what I want to communicate today. You know, most of us think of nuns or monks, and we think of, like, say, for example, the Catholic institution. Most women who become nuns in that scenario have not become the nun by going through the path of complete freedom and liberation, right? Most women become nuns because they don't want to marry, they don't know where else to go in their lives. There might be a lot of religiosity and dogma. It might come from a place of shame, right? I never thought I would end up being a nun, because most of my journey and a lot of my recovery in my 20s was releasing the dogma and the religious trauma of a fundamentalist upbringing. Then in my late 20s, early 30s, my sexuality opened, and oh my God, I've never experienced so much power and healing through sexual intimacy with the partner I had at the time. Things came out of me that I don't even know how to communicate. And that was a huge part of my path, right? Coming back into my sexuality and claiming it and owning it. And that was kind of in my early 30s. Then this Kundalini thing occurred when I was toward my, 37-ish. And the path went somewhere else, and I kept following it. But in essence, what I'm trying to say is that the path of the nun, the true nun, the nun comes from the Kemetic or Egyptian mythologies, and it's depicted as it's the first god. It's the god before Amun-Ra, mother, father. It's the god of the primordial waters, the chaos, the place of nothing but total potential. And that god is depicted with water, right? Water, like they've just got water all over their body. And Nun lifts the barge of earth. Nun, the mound of earth comes out of Nun, right? Comes out of the primordial darkness. The first god was darkness. There was no light. Light came after the first darkness. That's Nun. Nun is the return to the source. Nun is becoming the fish, becoming one in the self. That's the nun. And here, I'll show you the sculpture I made, right? I made this in Kashmir. I made both of these actually. So it's, I'll show you them now, but it's like, what I'm trying to communicate is that Tantra can go to a place of complete wholeness in the self. And I'm not saying that people in relationships are not spiritual or haven't got it right, or that my path is the path that everyone must follow. That's not what I'm saying. But I am trying to speak on behalf of the tantric practice and the real essence of it. Because what I see a lot of in culture is that tantra is about sacred sex. And while I'm saying that sacred sex is a huge part of reclaiming the self, especially at the root and the sacrum, those two places in the body, in the system, of course, there's a massive power to sex. But the ultimate aim of Tantra is unification in the self and experiencing the titillating bliss of having the deck of creation inside you. Just to be a little vulgar, because I am a tantric nun. I'll take off my veil to make a point, because girl can get nasty. I'll show you some of my work along the path. I did a lot of artwork I brought in symbols that were happening, and I created art just because I felt compelled. There was this sexual energy in me, and I wanted so badly to bone someone, but every person I met, my body wasn't allowing me. She just didn't want a dick in her. And I was like, where am I supposed to put all this sexual energy? And she was like, yeah, exactly. Self-create. Recreate the self. Creation. Sexual desire is creative frustration. And when I didn't have anywhere else to put that, and I started to create, I used my own body and symbols that were coming to me. I made sort of occult art pieces, fully naked, with roses around me, completely naked, covered in red clay. I didn't even know that I was embodying various feminine archetypes as I was creating that artwork. I only embodied them later, after making the art, which is funny. You make it out of pure impulse, and then you see that you actually making that was the prophecy of becoming it. And now I think I have quite a, a lovely following, and I'm so appreciative, and I love that people respond to the messages I have, because it's my greatest pleasure to share the wisdom and love of Sophia. She is, I have never experienced a greater love than the Mother, Father, than the source of creation. I've never experienced anything more whole and pure. And when the Creator came to me one night in Kashmir, in the mountains, and wed me, proposed, asked, I was scared of that. I was afraid, but I can't take my eyes off the Creator. I can't take my eyes off the Beloved. Of course I said yes. That's when Allah put a ring on it. And I put a ring on it because Allah is in me. I didn't expect this to get so emotional, but I guess it's been a year of just doing the work, and over the last month I've really been able to sit with myself and go, oh my God, I'm a nun. It actually just only sunk in over the last month or two, and I've just been able to sit with my path because I was just going this year, and really consider it. And I'm feel myself moving into a deeper level of intimacy with the Beloved. The nun, becoming the nun doesn't mean you finish. I haven't reached, right? Whatever that means. The path is continuous, and it's deepening levels of intimacy within. And I find myself cultivating the titillating bliss just by being in creation, right? Is there anything more? This is the thing I wanted to show you. I made this pomegranate. This is paper mache. Check how light it is. Can you believe it? I fell in love with this medium. I love clay sculpting. And when I went to Kashmir, this medium has been there since the 1500s, and it came from Iran. A Sufi brought it from Iran to Kashmir. And they do very beautiful, intricate designs, lamps, elephants, eggs. But I went and learned how to use this medium. It's so interesting, and I sculpted my own things. And this is the pomegranate, the holy pomegranate, and of course it's very vaginal. Look at all those unctuous jewels in there, the gold of nature. Is there anything more sumptuous and delicious than nature? To cultivate that buzz of ecstasy, right? Not like I don't know, I'm discovering this for myself, so I don't even know if I have the words, but I find myself cultivating a kind of consistent pleasure, a continual of like cozy, sumptuous love, right? That becomes, we often associate nuns with stern, divorced from their own creativity and sexual energy, but nothing could be further from the truth. But now when I'm presented with a sexual surge in me, I don't seek out a dick to put inside my vagina. I ask what I'm recreating in my own system. Because sexual energy is creative energy. So I know it's an upsurge. If I allow it to surge up and move through my system, I'm going to be renewed in my mind and in my body. Right? And I find that to be sweetly challenging. And I don't do anything out of obligation, right? Because I came out of fundamentalism, I rejected that entirely. I'm punk to the core. I grew up on grunge, punk, hip hop. I am so fucking real, right? And this is why I'm saying fuck a lot in this video, because I have reached a place where I don't kind of, I say reached, and I don't even want to use reached because that's the wrong way to put it, but I don't like to, or I just don't swear a lot. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I know that a lot of people see me and I'm oozing with love because I'm in love. I'm in love. But it comes, and the path is very raw and very authentic and totally against renunciation. I hate renunciation. I hate asceticism for the sake of asceticism. I will never do anything out of obligation, or because some book tells me to, or somebody says that's how that's how you become holy. Fuck your holiness. My path has been like so pure, so real, like hitting freaking cigs and hash that, like weeks before becoming a nun. On the phone to my best mates in South Africa going, something's fucking happening. Something is unifying in me. I don't know what is happening. I'm doing this. Will you light a candle for me? It's so real. There's nothing sanctimonious or pious about it. I can't believe how much I've cried through this video. I think I'm actually only now, the last month or two, fully releasing out of my third dimensional self. There's another level of integration that's been happening, of processing my path and processing what I continue to choose. And I'm just trying to find a way to, it's my greatest joy and honor to guide people in their lives out of their own patterns and limitations. And it's funny because I think people see me and sometimes see me as like this nun and might have all these associations, and I'm trying to communicate in this video, like, please don't have those. I'm so real, and the path is so real. And I also want to be the voice for the depth of the tantric path. Not that the sex is wrong, but it's literally only one of the sutras out of thousands of them. It's about inner union, that ecstasy can come from within. And in a few days, it's nearly Mahashivratri. Long story, I'll do another video about this celebration in India. But I've had deeply sexual encounters with the life force energy, like so intensely profound and transformative that I remember telling my two guy friends one night I'd felt the archetype a year ago. I felt the archetype of Vishnu. I spent time with Shiva, spend time with Vishnu. These are just archetypes, aspects of the divine. And Vishnu arrived in my bedroom one night, and Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I have never fucked like that in my life. Actually, between him and Shiva, I'm not sure. They were both insane. And I'm talking about a spiritual presence. Like, anyway, I'll do another video on that soon in the next couple days, because it's nearly Shivratri and I really want to speak about the potential of this evening for intimacy with the beloved. Yeah, but, you know, after those experiences, it's like, I was telling my guy friends, and I went so deep into how intimate and extreme and wonderful and insanely blissful that experience was. My body was being moved in certain ways, and things were opening, and energy was moving, and it was just like this, oh gosh, like a continuous orgasm. And my two guy friends, Ramesh and Nick, were like, cool. Well, that doesn't make me feel insecure at all. You know, like, I guess we can't top Vishnu, guys. I'm like, no, you can't. And if you guys want to try it out, call on Mohini, which is the sort of feminine counterpart of Vishnu. Or Kali, you know, call on Kali as the feminine counterpart of Shiva. Oh yeah. Anyway, I don't know what on earth this video is. I'll probably post it. I don't know. Here's another thing I made in Kashmir. It's the sacred heart. It's an anatomical heart. So I sculpted both of these things. I love sculpture. And then a brilliant artist called Nazir, he painted. This is a very old technique of painting. I sculpted these bees. Check them out. Yeah, they're like 3-dimensional bees. But he painted these roses, and this skill, he was passed down from his father, his father's father. It's passed down through the family. I couldn't possibly paint like this. The speed he can go with such delicacy, painting these delicate roses. He also painted this for me, although I kind of gave him some notes and did some work on the shading so we could get it just how I liked. Yeah, so grateful for that amazing artist. And I guess this is Tantra for me. This is Tantra. It's the cultivation of a heart that is I'm trying to find the way to say it, a heart that is in love with creation, the self, with nature, with things, anything you see, the look on a dog's face, the sweetness of a cat, the unctuousness of a fruit, the smell of rain. Like, I don't think there's anything more sexual than that, or more erotic, more divine, you know. I'm Nun, or Nu. The Egyptians also say Nu. And interestingly, because I've been researching, only now in this last month or two, I've been like, let me get to the bottom of what the hell a nun even is. I took these vows because I knew I was doing it, and that's what I was, and I was like, I'm doing it. And only later I get to the bottom of, you know, I might do some research. It's taken a year for me to even look up the source of the word nun. And nun in Aramaic is the word for serpent. In Phoenician, it's the word for fish. Right? So there's also this concept of, it's interesting because you see this ring here. See the serpent. So I wear this, and this. And that's, of course, my wedding ring. It was my grandmother's. But these 3 rings were from my previous marriage, my wedding ring and my engagement ring, I melted down and I made them into these 3 rings, right? Straight after my Kundalini awakening in 2019, not knowing my path at all, not knowing much of anything. I just got the symbols in my head. I was like, follow symbols, you know, just like pure primal stuff, like not knowing the depth of what these would become for me. I was just like, that thing keeps coming up. It's deep in my body. I don't know why. Make that symbol. The snake. I met her. I don't know who the hell she is. But yeah, that was pretty intense and profound. I want the snake on my finger. You know, like, and now, 3-4 years later, I'm like, I am the snake. I am Nun. How funny is that? That Nun means serpent. It's the symbol of the serpent as well in Egypt. Yeah. The other thing that it feels like a bit, you know, being a nun feels like a bit, I remember my friends asking me in the beginning, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, when you meet a nice guy, you know, yeah, you know, don't hold yourself to it. I was like, guys, this is not some freaking joke, you know? My mates, I love my mates. But the way I described it or explained it was like, it feels like, do you remember being 12, 13, 12-ish, and you still running around naked in the garden with your boys and girls are swimming naked together. They don't care. They're just there like hanging out, and they're not aware of sexualizing each other's bodies. There's like a purity. There's like kind of like a sweet innocence. And the body of another is just sweet. It's not like something I'm like, ugh. There was like this restoration of innocence that happened. Not that I don't have, you know, sexual impulses, but like I said, I transmute that up the system. It comes up the system. And even when I have sexual time, it comes up the system. But it's yeah, there's just my gaze became pure again. Like I feel like that little girl before I become aware of boys and, oh my God, and do they, you know, like, I want that one, and I want, you know, it's before that, it's the moment before that is what this feels like to me. Yeah. Interesting. And it's a year in, and I'm a baby, and, you know, I'll say this as well, the night that it happened, it was funny because my one of my best girlfriends, she had her baby, and the night it happened, I kept seeing this baby's face coming out of the cosmos. I was doing my mantra in my room, and I felt something transforming. I was crying through it. I wasn't sure what was happening, and I could see this baby's face, smiling at me, coming at me from the cosmos, and I was like, this is my baby. This is my baby. Like, it was funny because the next day my friend, she had voice noted me about how the sensations and how she felt looking into her baby's face. He wasn't that old then, just a few months. Solomon, the son, how beautiful is that? And I told her about this, that it happened to me, you know, like, and I wasn't sure what that baby was. It was so visceral. In my experience, I was like, I don't know what this is. And I had done some, like puja, prayer, up in the mountains in Kashmir, and I was told, the spirit told me, light 7 sticks of incense, bring an apple and bring flowers, and call on Emmanuel. The priest king, the Christ, call on Emmanuel. And I called on Emmanuel. Then about a week later or so, I see this baby in my vision, and I still don't realize, I still think that something is coming from outside of me, and then it was born inside of me. And St. John of the Cross talks about how the Christ is born into the womb of your being, right? Many mystics talk about this. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, the womb of your being, we all have a womb within us. And the Christ child is born in your being. It's a metaphorical, literary myth about something that spiritually and alchemically occurs when the vow is made. And that's how I've come to experience it. And now I carry this baby in me, as me. And it's interesting, I was talking to my Indian friend, and we were talking, my other really good girlfriend, Anu, who I love dearly, and I love that these two women in my life, well, there's many people in my life, but Shani and Anu are two friends that have helped me through this process, not knowing, living completely different lives to me, not having a context for what I'm saying, but still being able to hold space for what I'm going through, have to shift out of their own context and speak to and encourage my path. A lot of people speak from their own perspective. I'm so grateful for these two women in my life, and many others, but just, they're coming to mind right now. But anyway, I spoke to Anu the other day because it had dawned on me, in Hinduism, there's the story of Rama and Krishna, right? Krishna being like the Christ child, this pure, playful, innocent being who is in all of us, the baby, the Christ child. And Rama carries him, right? Rama is the strong archetype and carries the baby Krishna through, the pits of snakes and all kinds of things. And I realized, Rama Krishna is in the self. I am Rama to my Krishna. There's a Rama side of me where I protect the child. I protect the baby, the Christ. Because it's the greatest gift I've ever received. And sometimes my alarm went off there, so it stopped the video. So I finished. I didn't realize this was going to go on so long, but sometimes in my life, like in the last month, I've had my doubts, right? And I've sat with those. I've had to confront certain things. And on the full moon in Leo, actually, I did a ceremony with my friend. I was just sitting by the water. I went into the space of prayer, and I was like, give me the message, and things, I started to draw, and phrases came out of me. And the phrase that came out of me was, fuck religion, protect the child. So that's this dichotomy, this paradox of, I am not religious, and I will choose a nun over and over again, because I am protecting the child. And that is my path, right? It's different for everyone. And it was important for me to share this today because, I don't know, the last Begin, a Begin is something like a nun. I'm not really certain. It depends, right? But the last Begin passed away a few years ago, right? There's the only nuns we know of and I know of in the world come from dogma, which I abhor. I'm the only nun I know that I had no lineage to go to as a Christian mystic when I took my vows. So I did it with my friend, the Tibetan monk, right? But so it's important for me to record my process, because it's even our books have been burnt. Marguerite Porete was burnt. Every true nun was annihilated by the Catholic Church because they held the actual child, right? Every true nun, male or female, was murdered by the Catholic Church. Their books were taken away. It's like, it's important for me to record this and say it for myself, that this is my story. This is my story. And I'm so happy I recorded a lot of videos leading up to this point. My transformation from 2019 to 2022, because I'm so different now. I wouldn't have been able to remember the process now as who I am now. And I know that what I'm encountering now, I won't remember some time from this moment on. I'll be something else in the future. The transformation and the deepening of self keeps going. So I've as a storyteller and recordist, I like to record and capture my own path for the sake of my memory, and so that there's a record of what true initiation looks like. What initiation looks like in the body of one person, me, Genevieve Akal. We don't have our mystery schools anymore. The Library of Alexandria was burnt down. It's like all the books and the records of people who have gone through initiation are lost. And it's kind of wonderful, because it's like I have only had Sophia, Mother, Father to rely on, right? So it's been painful at times, because like I said, I don't have my lineage anymore. But they're coming back, because I'm here. If I'm here, and I know what I know, and I've been through what I've been through, we're back, baby. We're back. And it's also to hold space for others, you know? I've had some woman message me about saying that they feel this call to be a nun as well, and asking questions about it, because we don't know what it is outside of the dogmatic context, but it's much older than the institution of religion, and it comes from a pure place of my desire. I choose this over and over again. I would. How can I not? Anyway, thank you. If you've watched to this point through all my tears and recountings and all kinds of things, thank you for witnessing my story. Thank you. And just, not that you have to become a nun at all. The only message I have is just fuck what anyone else says. Right? Punk. The path is punk. Not meaning you're gonna hurt somebody and self-annihilation. Not that kind of punk. I mean like punk as in so authentic, so you. If there's 100 people telling me that I should be doing something and my body thinks I should do something else, but everyone is telling me something opposite, I'll follow my body no matter what. Follow your heart no matter what. No matter what. Okay, I love you.